Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Charles Koch blasts Trump's steel and aluminum tariff plan. Billionaire conservative megadinner Charles Koch slammed President Donald Trump's announced plans to impose fresh tariffs on steel and aluminum imports in a Washington Post op-ed, arguing that such policies would do far more harm than good for the U.S., both economically and culturally. Just as the United States benefits from the ideas and skills that opportunity-seeking immigrants bring with them, free trade has been essential to our society's prosperity and to people improving their lives, Koch wrote in his op-ed, published online Wednesday night. Countries with the freest trade have tended to not only be the wealthiest but also the most tolerant. Conversely, the restriction of trade, whether through tariffs, quotas or other means, has hurt the economy and pitted people against each other. Trump has long pushed a protectionist trade agenda that has put him at odds with the orthodoxy of his own party, which has typically been supportive of free trade policies. The president, who pulled the U.S. out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal upon taking office and has threatened to do the same with NAFTA, has argued that the U.S. has long allowed other nations to take advantage of it in international trade and that his policies, including tariffs, will level the playing field. But Koch argued that the president's proposed tariffs, 25% on steel imports and 10% on aluminum, will wind up hurting Americans by raising prices, effectively undoing the economic benefits Koch said have come from the package of tax cuts and reforms that Trump signed into law last year. It will be consumers, Koch said, not companies, who end up bearing the brunt of the president's tariffs. Such trade policies are a severely inefficient means of promoting job creation, he wrote, and would ultimately wind up creating a net loss of jobs even as some corporations benefit financially. Corporate leaders, Koch said, should be urging Trump not to impose his proposed tariffs because if we are to have a system in which businesses can succeed long-term, policies must benefit everyone, not just the few. Without a doubt, those who can least afford it will be harmed the most. Having just helped consumers keep more of their money by passing tax reform, it makes little sense to take it away via higher costs, Koch wrote. Tariffs will only perpetuate the rigged system that threatens the very core of our society. When large companies can pressure politicians to force everyday Americans to fork over unearned millions, we should all question the fairness of the system. Trump administration looking at Oakland mayor over immigration warning. President Donald Trump said Thursday his administration is looking at Mayor Libby Schaaf of Oakland, California, after she warned her city's residents last week about an upcoming raid by immigration and customs enforcement agents. What the mayor of Oakland did the other day was a disgrace, where they had close to 1,000 people ready to be gotten, ready to be taken off the streets, Trump said Thursday during a portion of a White House cabinet meeting that was open to reporters. And the mayor of Oakland went out, and she went out and warned them all, scatter. Trump's criticism included what appeared to be a veiled threat of legal action against the Oakland mayor, whom he blamed for ICE making only around 150 arrests when it had targeted many more undocumented immigrants. The administration has said people with criminal backgrounds were able to escape. Schaaf has said the administration is trying to portray people in the country illegally as criminals. She said, "Get out of here." And she's telling that to criminals. And it's certainly something that we're looking at with respect to her individually, Trump said. What she did is incredible and very dangerous from the standpoint of ICE and Border Patrol. Very dangerous. She really made law enforcement much more dangerous than it had to be. So we're looking at that situation very carefully. A spokesman for Schaaf did not immediately return a request for comment. The mayor said at the time that she felt it was her duty and moral obligation to warn Oakland families about the upcoming ICE sweep. She told the San Francisco Chronicle last week that her warning was intended to give all residents time to learn their rights and know their legal options. Trump's criticism of Shaw followed harsh words from Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who rhetorically asked the mayor, "How dare you?" in a Wednesday speech that came after the Justice Department filed a lawsuit against California over its sanctuary policies for undocumented immigrants. Sessions, in his speech, said Shaw had needlessly endangered the lives of law enforcement. Trump tells steelworker his still living father is looking down with pride. President Donald Trump has vowed to bring the U.S. steel industry back to life, but on Thursday at the White House, it was a union leader who rhetorically revived his own father. Shortly before signing new tariffs on imports of steel and aluminum, the president turned over the mic to several workers from the industry who were invited to the meeting in the West Wing. Scott Sorich, leader of the Steelworkers 2,227 local union in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, told the president and assembled reporters that his father, Herman, a former worker in the steel industry, once lost his job due to increased imports. "I'd like to tell you a story about my father during the 80s, Sorich said. "My father lost his job due to imports coming into this country, and I just want to tell you, what that does to a man with 6 kids is devastating." Sorich said he was humbled by the opportunity to speak at the White House and thanked Trump for his work. "Your father, Herman, he's looking down, and he's very proud of you right now," Trump told him. "Oh, he's still alive," Sorich replied, as the room burst into laughter. "Then he's even more proud of you," Trump, smiling, quipped in response. The president on Thursday signed a 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum, a move that faced opposition from political leaders within his own party and in his administration. "The American steel, aluminum industry has been ravaged by aggressive foreign trade practices," Trump said. "It's really an assault on our country." Trump threatens veto over Gateway Tunnel funding. President Donald Trump has threatened to veto a massive omnibus spending package if it includes money for the Gateway Tunnel project in New York City, according to multiple sources. Trump's threat has complicated the outlook for the $1 trillion-plus spending measure, which Speaker Paul Ryan, Republican Wisconsin, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RCI, want to pass before government funding runs out on March 23. While it is highly unusual for a Republican president to threaten a veto on a funding bill coming from a GOP-run Congress, and risking a potential government shutdown, Trump is adamant in his opposition to the federal government underwriting the project, the sources said. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Rodney Frelinghuysen, R&J, has been leading the effort to insert gateway funding in the omnibus. Frelinghuysen, who is retiring this year, wants to include $900 million or more in the bill. But he faces opposition from some House GOP conservatives, who believe that the price tag is too high. The Gateway program costs an estimated $30 billion, with the long-sought tunnel project tallying $13 billion. Under an agreement worked out by the Obama administration, New York and New Jersey would pay half the cost, with the federal government picking up the rest. Senate Republicans have also not agreed to Frelinghuysen's demands. And the White House has no love for the New Jersey Republican, who voted against the tax cut bill, Trump's major legislative accomplishment. "This is all Trump personally," said a GOP source on Capitol Hill. "He is not going to go for any gateway funding." Yet a number of House Republicans, including members of the New York and New Jersey delegations, as well as appropriators, strongly back Frelinghuysen's efforts, despite Trump's opposition. The proposed new rail tunnel between Manhattan and New Jersey would be used by thousands of commuters every day. Representative Peter King, RNY, called any White House effort to squash the gateway money 11th hour BS. The New York Republican said Trump was emphatic about his support for the bridge when he met several months ago with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, DNY, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and other Empire State lawmakers. And he blasted Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao for accusing Gateway backers of spinning the president's words. "We definitely had the commitment. It was just dotting the I's and crossing the T's," King said of Trump backing Gateway. "The president was completing Schumer's sentences and my sentences, and he even got after Cuomo for not asking for more money for JFK Airport." King, who said he would vote against the omnibus if the Gateway money isn't included, said the White House was again knifing New Yorkers, after restricting the state and local tax deduction in their tax bill. "They screwed us on tax cut and now it's a double slap." A key point of emphasis for Trump is that Gateway is a high priority for Schumer. Trump may be using his opposition to Gateway to leverage funding for his other priorities in the omnibus, including the border wall between the United States and Mexico. At that September meeting with the New York area delegation, Trump kept Schumer behind for a private discussion during which he kept trying to trade Gateway funding for border wall funding, according to a source with direct knowledge of the conversation. Schumer slammed the White House for playing politics with one of the most high-profile infrastructure projects in the country. "This is vitally important to the Northeast Corridor and to the entire U.S. economy," Schumer said in a statement to Politico. "Jobs, income, and growth are all at stake. No one should be playing politics with it." Rachel Bade contributed to this report.